This week I'm serving a bestseller on the Volkswagen menu, the T-Cross. Now, this really is a pretty hip-looking T-Cross. This is the Highline model, but we've got the optional energetic orange styling pack that's been added. So you get it in this color, and then the standard 18-inch two-tone alloys have that color pulled through as well. It looks really good. On the inside, I love what they've done with the fabric on the seats, because you've got this multicolored little detail that looks really cool, and obviously you get this detailing on the dashboard as well. But having said that, I know this is not going to be everyone's cup of cocoa. But even in standard guise, I think the T-Cross really has a broad-based appeal from a styling perspective. But VW, for me, recently have ventured out a little bit more. There's a bit more edginess and some cool design details that they've pulled through. Nothing over the top. And it really did start with the Arteon, which was such a beautiful looking car. The Highline spec sees full LED headlights as standard, and I like how the single chrome detail on the grille dissects a VW badge and then lines up with the daytime running lights to form a really strong design line, while the downturned silver strip reflects the chrome treatment at the bottom of the grille. It's all very subtle, but it squares up the front end. The fog lights have cornering functionality and have chrome surrounds. In profile, it's the twin crease detail on the silver roof rails that catch your eye, while at the rear, it's all about the treatment of the LED combo light cluster, linked by this darkened strip with the C shape of the light squaring it off. There's a cut and paste of the silver treatment we saw up front, and our unit is fitted with a removable tow bar, and the T-Cross does have trailer sway assist. VW launched the T-Cross with this 1-litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine that is linked to their 7-speed dual-clutch DSG transmission. In terms of output figures, you're looking at 85 kilowatts, 200 newton meters of torque, but there is going to be a detuned version of this engine, as well as a more powerful 1.5-litre 4-cylinder turbo, but we'll talk more about those a little bit later. I did a review of the Comfortline version of the T-Cross a little bit earlier this year for Ignition, but I've spent a lot more time in the T-Cross this time around. Probably done about 1,500 Ks in total, and I want to tell you a couple of things that I really do like. The engine and gearbox pairing, really, really solid. It actually feels a lot stronger than what you are getting on paper. On the open road, there was always enough when I needed to overtake, and just cruising around town as well. No turbo lag, which is often a big issue with these small capacity engines in a slightly bigger car. Power delivery was really smooth. Great having cruise control as standard in the current model lineup. And what I liked is obviously with the dual clutch transmission, when the car was making any changes to keep to that set speed, you really don't even notice them. It has been accused of being a little on the firm side. Yeah, I mean, I've been in worse, to be honest, and a lot of the roads that I drove on are very similar to what I'm on right now. B roads that are not in great condition, and I didn't really have too much of an issue. Like with the Polo, the T-Cross is built on the group's MQB platform, so you're working off a great base. It really is only the most brutal of speed bumps or hectic corrugations in the road where it tends to hit quite hard, so maybe some additional damping will soften that experience. But it's firm, but it's not unbearable. The Highline model has added the Sport Comfort seats. They're height adjustable. The steering is height and reach adjustable, so I was in a really good, comfortable driving position. Now let me tell you a few things that I don't like. Their start-stop functionality is dreadful. I wish the default setting was off. It's just, get the calendar out. It takes forever to fire up the engine when you're at a traffic light, and then when you want to go, it's like all or nothing, because you've put your foot down, nothing's happening, and then suddenly it is, and you're dealing with turbo lag that you don't generally have in the car. So I really don't like it. And then let's talk fuel consumption. VW is claiming 4.9 litres per 100, which seems perfectly plausible. 1 litre 3-cylinder engine. Most of my driving was on the link highways, so I was gliding along between 80 and 120 kilometers an hour, driving very sedately, and I honestly struggled to do better than mid 7 litres per 100. Way off what they've claimed. Now, because we are in the Highline, there we go. Yeah, stop. Let me turn it off. Because we are in the Highline, you obviously have the different driver setting profiles, which are preset. Normal is the default mode. You've got sport, you've got individual, but they've also added in an eco mode. So probably that's the setting that I should be in if I want to come anywhere near their claimed fuel consumption figures. But having said that, I just don't enjoy the drive characteristics in eco mode. So normal it is for me. The Highline is reasonably well spec'd, but there are a few things that you'll probably want to add, like the active info display, a digital transformation of the dash layout with some personalization options, and easily navigated with the buttons on the steering. It is included here with the upgraded Discover Media infotainment package, but at 23,000 Rand, seriously, don't bother. With smartphone integration, you don't need the navigation. Rather stick with the standard composition media package and then pay 9,000 Rand to get the digital dash. You may also push yes for the keyless entry with push to start. Inductive wireless charging is standard, as is the dual climate control, while things like the auto headlights, one-touch electric windows all round, and electric heated mirrors and park distance control you'll also find on the lower spec Comfortline model. I want to show you something I think is crucial in this segment, and it's simple. A sliding bench in the rear. Pull the lever up and I've got 140 millimeters of travel. The Golf SV had it. That's a car that nobody wanted to buy. But what it does is it adds massive practicality and versatility to the T-Cross. Without this bench, you've basically got a slightly bigger Polo that's done some calf raises. The boot is now able to be increased from 377 litres to 455 litres. At the rear there are no air vents sadly, but they have added 2 USBs, which is cool for the new generation's need for connectivity. Do you need a reverse camera or assistance with parking, mirrors that fold? Or maybe you want that powerful 300 watt Beats sound system with amplifier and subwoofer, which does sound great by the way. With all of these options added to our test unit at just over 60,000 Rand, it makes this T-Cross a very pricey option indeed. Currently, it is just the trim level you get to choose in the T-Cross lineup, with the Comfortline starting at just on 374,000 Rand and our Highline test unit landing at the 408,000 Rand mark. But as you saw, it is pretty easy to add 60,000 Rand onto the price with the extras. The range is offered with a 3-year 120,000 kilometer warranty, as well as a 3-year 45,000 kilometer service plan. To spec your T-Cross, you can head to the Volkswagen South Africa website or chat with Warren at Mastercars Mount Road. Now, the 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating comes as no surprise and is obviously great news for families, but things like blind spot assistance and lane keeping remain optional extras. Launching with the middle model has worked very well for Volkswagen with the Tiguan, and have now had the exact same success with the T-Cross, and now the lineup is being expanded. So that entry-level detuned 1-litre 3-cylinder petrol engine will be coming, looks like September month, linked to a 5-speed manual transmission and as the Trendline spec derivative. And then the range-topping 1.5-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine, which will come as an R-Line spec only, is going to arrive a month earlier. You're looking at August, and that's got 110 kilowatts. But I think all the excitement was about that Trendline, the entry level to the T-Cross lineup, coming in for under the 300,000 Rand mark. There is no ways I see that happening anymore, because since March, when we last reviewed the T-Cross, the prices have gone up by on average 30,000 Rand across the board. So yes, this is a super competitive segment, but the T-Cross has literally blown the competition away from a sales perspective. But having driven all of the other brands' competitors in this market, I don't think that the T-Cross is head and shoulders above my other picks like the Kia Seltos or the Suzuki Vitara. But I think it's more about brand legacy, what the brand stands for and how people associate with it. If you think about it, consumers at the moment are mad about crossovers, and VW as a brand are the guys that make people's cars. So now they've got a product that really is going to help the people cross over.